The dimly lit study of Ashwood Manor was a sanctuary of old-world charm and eerie silence, filled with antiquated books and dusty family artifacts whispering tales untold. Sarah Ashwood stood amidst this melange of history, her fingers tracing the spines of leather-bound volumes as she sought solace in the familiar scent of aged paper and ink. Sarah's gaze landed on an ancient journal half hidden behind books and artifacts. The relic of past eras intrigued her deeply. As Sarah reached for it, her hand brushed against cold metal, another artifact left behind by generations past. This one a tarnished silver locket engraved with intricate symbols she recognized as part of their family's secretive lore. Sarah carefully retrieved the journal from high on a shelf and settled into an old wooden chair. She opened the leather-bound book to reveal pages filled with cryptic markings that appeared both foreign yet oddly familiar symbols etched in a language lost over centuries, but still lingering within her subconscious mind, like ghostly echoes of forgotten rituals. As she read through entries chronicling events from years ago, Sarah's heart raced with a mix of fear and fascination. The tremor started as nothing more than the slightest vibration beneath her feet, almost imperceptible at first, like an underground rumble that might have been mistaken for a distant train passing by, if not for its sudden and inexplicable nature here in their isolated estate, hinting at dark forces intertwined with Ashwood Manor's history. But there was no denying it now. Sarah's body tensed with growing unease as she turned another page, only to feel the tremor intensify. The journal seemed to be pulling her into some unknown, darkened labyrinth, where every symbol held secrets yet untold, and each word spoke volumes about a world far removed from reality here in their isolated estate. Eerie whispers began filling the air around Sarah, then soft at first, but gradually growing louder till they were almost deafening in their intensity. They came not just as noise, but as messages weaving through her mind, urging her to leave this room now while she could, and yet tauntingly pointing towards hidden truths locked away deep within Ashwood Manor's attic. Sarah looked up from the journal, eyes wide with both fear and fascination, staring at an old grandfather clock standing in the corner of the room. Its hands had been frozen mid-chime when suddenly it began to sound out one solitary note before falling silent once more. A final warning, or perhaps a desperate plea for her attention. She knew she should escape from this place that was rapidly turning into a living nightmare. But instead, something deeper within Sarah urged her forward towards whatever lurked in the attic's shadows. With each passing moment, the voices grew louder and clearer, whispering of secrets buried under layers of dust and time. Sarah slowly rose to leave, yet found herself drawn back towards an old set of stairs leading upwards into darkness, where light barely penetrated through cracks in decaying plasterwork, beckoning her closer with promises whispered by ghostly whispers that only she could hear. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of generations resting heavily upon her shoulders, as if they too were urging her forward. With trembling hands clutching tightly onto both journal and locket, for reassurance against whatever horrors awaited above ground floor level, Sarah began to climb towards what would soon become not just an attic, but rather another realm entirely, a place where all the answers she sought lay hidden behind layers of fear and mystery. Wooden steps groaned underfoot as if protesting against being disturbed after years of silence, each noise echoing through the empty halls below. Sarah's grip tightened on both items in hand. They were talismans against unseen forces that seemed to leer at her from every corner of Ashwood Manor. The air grew colder as she ascended, a sharp contrast to the warm summer day outside. At last she reached what remained of the attic door, little more than splintered boards hanging loosely on rusty hinges. Pushing them aside with hesitation, Sarah stepped into darkness so thick it seemed almost physical. A faint light flickered in one corner. Approaching cautiously, she uncovered a small lantern lying half buried under layers of cobwebs and debris. With trembling fingers, Sarah lit the flame a tiny beacon amidst endless shadows. The yellow glow cast eerie patterns across dust motes suspended mid-air, dancing macabrely as it illuminated scattered remnants from another era. Old photographs, brittle letters sealed with wax stamps bearing unfamiliar crests, trunks bound tight by leather straps waiting to be unfastened. Her heartbeat echoed in her chest in rhythm with the whispering voices that grew more insistent. "What do you seek?" they asked, their tone both curious and accusing. Yet amidst this cacophony of sound, there was silence too, a profound stillness which demanded attention as much as any clamor could. In one corner lay an ornate wooden box carved with intricate designs depicting scenes from some long-forgotten legend or myth. Its surface bore the patina of age, yet it seemed almost untouched by time itself, an anomaly amidst decayed furniture and crumbling walls around it. Driven now more than ever before, Sarah moved closer to examine this mysterious relic. Opening its clasp revealed a space filled not with gold coins or jewels, but rather pieces of fabric, tiny swatches, each no bigger than palm size, arranged neatly within compartments, like some kind of dark sampler book. Each piece seemed different, yet shared common threads, hints of red amongst the predominant blacks and grays, patterns that spoke silently about lives lived intensely under oppressor shadows. As she touched these remnants gently for fear they might crumble beneath her fingertips, Sarah felt a chill run down spine and awareness, not just physical but spiritual too. It was as though ghosts themselves were whispering tales through each thread woven into existence long ago by hands now cold and still within Earth's embrace, far away from here. Turning abruptly towards another part of attic space where several large trunks stood side by side, Sarah approached them slowly, almost reverent in her steps, despite knowing full well that whatever secrets these contained, they would not come easy. With a deep breath and determined resolve, she began undoing locks one by one, each click sending shivers coursing through veins. Inside lay garments worn thin from countless years of use, suits tailored meticulously yet now faded beyond recognition, dresses adorned with lace so delicate it seemed miraculous that time had left any trace behind at all. Alongside clothing were numerous personal effects journals penned in elegant script, detailing events only hinted at throughout Sarah's brief exploration thus far, photographs showing faces frozen forevermore amidst smiles both genuine and forced. But there was something else too, a heavy book bound tightly shut with leather straps, so thick it appeared almost impossible to pry open without causing damage. This object alone seemed charged with power, its mere presence in room enough to send shivers skittering across Sarah's skin despite how well-lit area now became by lantern flame. Unable to resist urge any longer, she reached out once more and unclasped those thick bindings carefully before prying pages apart, slowly revealing contents within. And there it was. An entry scrawled hurriedly one night long past describing discovery of hidden room tucked away behind wall paneling near attic's northernmost corner. Described as place where all secrets could be kept safe from outside world, but also trapped forevermore. This revelation sent cold fear coursing through Sarah like icy fingers clutching around heart. For what if this so-called quiet room was indeed repository for Ashwood Manor's darkest truths, and now somehow linked directly back to her own personal history? Questions swirled in mind, questions about family legacy and hidden traumas passed down generations beyond comprehension. But there would be time later, perhaps even need, for contemplation. Right then, priority lay simply upon uncovering what exactly remained locked away within these walls, waiting patiently for someone brave enough or foolhardy to find them. With renewed determination burning brightly behind eyes, Sarah set off towards North Corner, determined to unravel final piece of puzzle despite whatever horrors awaited discovery. Rustling leaves outside sounded distant amidst oppressive silence surrounding her. Fog rolled in thickly beyond window panes, obscuring view entirely, yet somehow making everything feel closer, intimate, almost pressing down heavily upon spirit, like weight of expectations resting squarely on shoulders. Despite this overwhelming sense of foreboding, Sarah pressed onward, driven both by morbid curiosity and unspoken desire to understand true nature behind Ashwood Manor's enigmatic allure. And so she found herself standing before wall paneling near attic's edge, fingers trembling ever so slightly as they reached out toward surface, eager yet wary at same time. With deep breath drawn inward, Sarah pushed against wood cautiously, and suddenly it gave way, revealing narrow opening beyond, leading into pitch blackness, barely visible even under light from lantern flame, now dimming slightly due to lack of oxygen inside confined space. Heart pounding wildly within chest, Sarah hesitated only moment before stepping through threshold, fully prepared face whatever lay ahead, knowing full well that once crossed, there would be no turning back.